Hey man, hope all is well, dude. And I'm just looking at, I'm seeing some things right here out of your elbow isn't pinching up in time, so my arm's staying particularly low. This is what we call an inverted W. So you have almost like an M shape, and right as you plant your front leg, your front glove, your arm should actually be up and ready to drive, and you can see it here as you plant. Arm is way too far low and it's actually really far behind. So I'd like to see you pinch a little bit higher. Your elbow and your wrist should be up pinched so that you're driving all with your arm. And as you throw, um, you're leading with your elbow, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to hold this position into the shoulder blade as long as you can, and this is what we call a high elbow or a low elbow. So on your video now, on your weaknesses, I want you to start focusing on that high elbow and getting your wrist up, 45-degree knees. Final arc, those throwing stuff from your knees is really going to help a lot getting your elbow situated. Looking into your front glove, you have a good front glove up and it drives down, and so what happens is your shoulder blades are not supporting each other, and they're kind of counterproductive. So when one comes down, my arm has to come up. So if your front glove, and this is something that you've got to work on, stays more directional where I'm going around my body, you're going to have better leverage around that front side to be able to turn your backside. So those are the two things I would definitely work on that are going to get that timing that you need to throw the ball. Obviously, you're not throwing 100% right now, but mechanically, that's what I would change with your upper body. And I think when your elbow hits, you're already rotating forward, so you're not keeping your trunk closed off once you plant. So once you plant, then your chest is going forward, and if you can increase that, what we call hip chest separation, you're gonna be throwing more with your core. So let's get into. I don't have an exact front side here, but lower half wise, you're staying quite high, and out of this angle you're at 132 degrees. I'd like to get down to 100, at least down to 100. That's 113, so that's 10 degrees difference. It's 103. So your hips have got to sit, and you're kind of staying up and rotating mostly with your upper body. And when you do that and your arm's not up, everything's kind of out of sync. You have a good extension here, which is fabulous, but the power out of the back leg, that's definitely something you've really got to work on. So power of the back leg is one of the big ones as far as power goes. You're at about 90 degrees double leg extension. So you could be traveling longer and further with your lower half, and the reason why you're not is because you're not squatting off of that back half, which is what you told me. You said, I don't think I'm getting off my back half. Well, here's the number to prove it, and I want to improve. So I want to get down to 100 degrees. And if you're not going to be able to be driving in your lower half, your extension is going to be low. So this double leg extension, like I said before, it's like 90 degrees. I want that to like 110 degrees plus. So there's that. When you plant in your front leg, your knee, let's look at your knee. Your knee doesn't move too much. So right when you plant, this knee, you can see it waver a little bit. The bigger the movement in the front knee, the more this back hip waits to rotate through. So if you can plant better, and let's measure this, 134. Is not bad. It's not bad at all. But I'd like to see an action where your hip comes through, your knee comes back, and that's going to make room for this this back leg to rotate through with your hip. And it's also going to make room for your chest. You have a very good chest drive. Like I said, I don't have the angle directly from the sides. It's hard to measure, but you're about 48 degrees, which is a very good, healthy chest extension. I think that's why you throw so hard. Your toe is rotating on your back foot, which is good, and it's staying down on the ground and popping through. But I think the front knee has got to work a little bit better. I think it could be a lot more efficient. I think your double leg extension with your lower half could be more efficient. I think your squat, back leg squat, you need to stay longer and lower over the back half. You're also going to have to, this is what we call it, stacking. The stacking, I want this head to go over. You can already see as you drive, your head's coming out from behind this back foot. And if your head's not over that foot, then you're really leaving yourself out to dry with your arm. So if you can stay for a longer period of time, that front glove comes up and it pinches really well and rotates in the right direction, then that chest, the arms up, doing a good job there, but I want it to be a little bit earlier, and then everything is smooth. I'm going to be throwing with more body, if that makes any sense. So stacking definitely needs to happen. This is, I need a little bit better angle from completely from the front. But if I measure this, off, Ellis or Cohen, stop. If this chest goes through, or about 78 degrees, looking at it here as you come through, you pinch. It's a little bit low. The elbow's low there, honestly. And as you drag the elbow through, it has to come up. And the reason why it has to come up is your front glove is too low. So like I said before, we have that little bit of a high elbow coming through and compensating for that front glove. So I want a firmer front glove, and that's where you can put a 2-pound ball in your front glove when you throw. And we're trying to get more of a shoulder blade pinch and less like this. If you look at Mark Pryor and some of the other pitchers, inverted W, they have a lot of shoulder and elbow issues because it's low, high, through. There's a lot of stress on the elbow. So got to be careful with this formation. I want this arm and elbow to be up a little bit as you come through and pinch, and this shoulder to pinch in the right direction this way. Just trying to see. You see that huge elbow drive there. I'd like you to drive with your chest first and then your elbow second. So as you come through, your elbow's leading and then everything's coming through. I want to have a better pinch into that shoulder blade and drive through. So that's pretty much it. So recapping, power to the back leg, double angle at foot strike, that extension, front knee, external rotation of your front knee, that needs to get better. Stacking, acromial line, you need to stack better. What that means is the head needs to stay over that back foot for a longer period of time. You've got to stay lower, so I've got to squat better and stay lower. That's going to help you to extend, which will lead into your front leg. You have a high elevated distal humerus, which is a high elbow, which is what we talked about. That's something that you need to look up as well. You also need to look at the firm front glove. It drops too far down. It's not working in sync, and we have kind of a inverted W. Your chest extension's fabulous, and I don't really have an angle for your wrist over your elbow, which is what we call arm fly out, but I don't think you have one. So hopefully this is good information. Now you go on to 212athlete.com on your membership, sign in, and go to the specific weaknesses. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. And thanks for being a part of 212 Athlete.